Hey guys, how's it going? Um, Welcome to another TryHackMe episode. This is going to be day 4 for Advent of Cyber. And if you haven't seen the previous ones, or at least day 3, it's going to be right here. Or you can click on the thing that popped over there, the card. So yeah, let's get started. So, as before, we are going to be going through this whole thing and reading it and learning together. So if you already know this, or if you don't really care and want to skip to the end, you can do so. But let's get started. So we are still in web exploitation, and it's called Santa's Running Behind. Mac sysadmin managed to reset everyone's access except Santa's. Santa's expected some urgent travel itinerary for his route over Christmas. Rumor has it that Santa never followed the password security recommendations. Can you use brute forcing to help him access his accounts? So learning objectives. In today's task, we're going to learn the following. Understanding authentication and where it is used, understanding what fuzzing is, and understanding what Burp Suite is and how we can use it for fuzzing a login form to gain access. Apply this knowledge to retrieve Santa's travel itinerary. So what is authentication and where is it used? Authentication is the process of verifying a user's identity, establishing that they are who they are, who they say they are. Authentication can be proven using a variety of authentication means, including a set of credentials to a known set of credentials to the server and user, such as a username or password and password. Token authentication, these are unique pieces of encrypted text. Biometric authentication, which is fingerprints, retina scans, and other stuff. Authentication is often used interchangeably with authorization, but it is very different. Authorization is a term for the rules defining what an authenticated user can and cannot access. For example, a standard, the authenticated user will only be allowed access to some aspects of a website. An authenticated administrator will be able to access the entire thing. Their level of authorization determines this. Authentication is used when there is a necessity to know who is accessing a piece of data or information to create accountability. Protecting the confidentiality element of the CIA triad. If you wish to learn more about this, I recommend checking out the Principles of Security Room on TryHackMe. They didn't link it. You can find examples of authentication in the real world. For example, a badge or keycard access to access restricted places within a building. What is fuzzing? Simply put, fuzzing is an automated means of testing an element of a web application until the application gives a vulnerability or valuable information. When we are fuzzing, we provide information as we would typically when interacting with it, just at a much faster rate. This means that we can use extensive lists known as word lists to test a web application's response to various information. For example, rather than testing a login form for a valid set of credentials one by one, which is exceptionally time-consuming, we can use a tool for fuzzing this login form to test hundreds of credentials at a much faster rate and more reliably. Fuzzing with Burp Suite. Please note that this task presumes that you are using the TryHackMe attack box. The attack box has the necessary software tools and word lists installed for you to complete today's task, so it is highly recommended that you use it. To start it, scroll to the top and click the Start Attack Box button. Then follow the steps below. Let's launch Firefox by navigating to Applications, Internet, and Firefox. Navigate to the login form in the web browser using the vulnerable IP address. Note that the IP address in the screenshot is only an example. You will need to replace this with the machine IP. Let's launch Burp Suite by navigating to Applications, Other, Burp Suite. Navigate to the Proxy tab. Intercept on, Proxy Intercept. Now we will need to return to our Firefox browser and enable the Foxy extension. Foxy proxy extension. In Firefox, you can do this by pressing the Firefox Foxy proxy extension and pressing burp, like so. Submit some data on the login form, such as below. Please note that the web browser will hang. We will need to return to Burp Suite, where we will see some data. Right click on the window that contains the data and press Send to Intruder. Navigate to the Intruder tab and select the following. Click Positions tab and clear the pre-selected positions by pressing Clear. Add the value of the username parameter as the first position. Sometimes we will already know the username, other times we will not. We can tell Burp to use a word list of usernames for this position as well. However, as the username is already known, i.e. cmnatic, we are just brute forcing the password. This can be done by highlighting the password parameter and clicking the add thingy, $. This makes it into a variable. Add the password value to the position, i.e. password onto 3. This can be done by highlighting the value in the parameter for the password and clicking add that. Select cluster bomb in the attack type drop down menu. We will now need to provide some values for Burp Suite to fuzz the login from form with passwords. We can provide a list manually, blah, 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 blah. And then we send it. Cool. So we're gonna have to do that. I don't really like using Burp Suite much. I've used it before, but I don't really like to use it that much, mostly because most of the times that I use it, it hangs my computer. Like I can't do anything, and it's like super slow. So what I usually do in these situations is I just create my own script using Python. I'm not sure if we will have the time to create it, but maybe we will. All right, so what we have to do now is we have to scroll up here, bloop, all the way to the top of this task, and we have to start the machine. Once that is done, we are gonna go here. We're gonna log into our machine, and we are going to be connecting to the OpenVPN. And I guess we could open Burp Suite for now and see if we can use it. If we have issues using it, we can just make a script or something like that. Oh. Great. Temporary project. Okay, let's see if we have this, and we do. So because the first thing we gotta do is we gotta go into that thing. All right, so make sure that if you're trying to go into the page, you set intercept to off within the proxy. Otherwise, it's going to not let you go there. We are connected. maybe just that. There we go. Yeah, with that. But anyway, also turn this off. Otherwise, if you oh, I guess it's not. Oh, why did I close that? Why did I close it? Okay, so I forget how to use this, but let's see. So we have that on. Then we're gonna go to Foxy Proxy. Do we have that? Foxy Proxy Standard, I'm guessing. All right, guys. So I spent a while trying to get Burp Suite to work on my side, and it didn't. So I'm not gonna use it. Instead, we are gonna do something else. We're gonna be making a script. A Python script that is gonna pretty much do the same thing that this whole process does. So essentially what is happening is what Burp Suite allows us to do is when we send these credentials, these dummy credentials, it's just so that we can capture the packets with this proxy, and we get to see all this information. And what we're doing here is we're actually using a list of passwords like this, and we are making this password parameter into a variable. And what's going to happen when we send it to intruder, I believe it is, it's going to go through this list right here, and it's going to assign password to that, and it's going to submit it multiple times until it gets it right. So that is what we are going to be doing. So it's the same thing, it's the same process, not really process, but it's the same idea that Burp Suite does. So we are first gonna go over here, and we need this list. So I'm gonna copy that. And then we're gonna go to here, and I'm gonna open Sublime Text, and we're just gonna paste this there. And this is going to be pretty much our script, our Python script. So let's actually go ahead and save this, and we can save it wherever we want. I'm gonna save it and capture the flag, TryHackMe, and I guess we can make a folder. Hey guys, Sorry to disturb the video, but if you're liking this video so far and would like to support my channel, please go and check out my store. If you don't find anything you like from my current selection, feel free to let me know and what you would like to see, and we'll try to add it as soon as we can. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of the video. And call it cyber, or yeah, Advent of Cyber, AOC. I guess Advent of Cyber. And then in here, we're just going to do day 4. And in here, we are going to just call this bruteforce.py, because it's the same thing. We're fuzzing, we're brute forcing. Whenever you have a word list and you're just spamming the web server with requests to log in, that's pretty much called a brute force attack. So we are going to be using Python 3. So we are going to be importing a requests. Is it it's requests library. And the first thing we're gonna do is just create a list right here. And we are gonna put these in our list, and what you would actually want to do instead of what I'm doing right now, is you would actually want to read in the file, but we are not going to be doing that. That's just too much work. I don't want to go and deal with at the moment. So we are just going to make our list like that. And don't forget the commas. Not sure what happened there. Okay. Let me make this a little bit bigger so we can see. And we are going to be making a couple of variables. The first one is going to be the IP. The second one is going to be the username. And then we're going to have the password. And the username is going to be Santa. If we go back over here, it says, what valid password can you use to access Santa's account? And remember, Santa got locked out of his account. He can't go in, so we gotta hack this server so that we can get Santa back in, so that he can see his itinerary or whatever. So we can actually do that. Say that we completed those. So let's keep on going. So we got Santa, and then we have, for now, I'm just gonna do password, just like a dummy thing. And then we're gonna be going in a for loop. We're gonna go through each of these, and what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be building a request. We're going to be building a request, and so that we can send that request to the server to try and log in. So what we're doing here is we're just setting the password into one of these as we loop through it. You could just use this, but I'm gonna go ahead and use my password variable that I created. And we are going to be just doing some visual cues for us. We're going to be printing out the current password that we're trying. And we are then going to build a an object. So I'm going to just call it my object. And we're going to say request dot post, because if you remember correctly, when we try log in, it's a post request because we're sending data to the server. So that's why we are using a post request here, and we just need to pass in the URL and the object as the data. And what is that URL? The URL is going to be just a string, right? So it's HTTPS or P because it doesn't have an S here. And then we're going to put our IP and close that like that. And we don't really need to build it every time since that data is not really changing. So we can just put it in here outside of that loop so that we don't need to rebuild that whole object. The only object that we need to rebuild is this post request because the password is going to be different. And actually, this is not it. So this is going to be a tuple. So if you remember correctly, we're gonna when you send data over the network, it's in this type of format, like username colon and then the user comma and then like password and then I don't know, the actual password and so on and so forth. So that's going to be essentially what we're building. So we need the username, we need our username variable, but just make sure that this one is in quotations. And here we are passing in our password, and we also need to pass in a submit. There's this field called submit for this particular website. And that in order for us, for the server to know that we have submitted, that we want to log in and we actually click that submit button, we have to add in this set of data. so that it can know that we want to log in. So this is just going to be R, and then we are going to see what the return value is. Let's see, if it's invalid username and or password, was it? Oh, and password, I guess. Is it like that? No, it's not in. So what we're trying to do here, this is an if statement, and we are saying that if there's anything that says that the username is invalid or the password inside of this text that we just got back from the server, if there is something like that, then that means we failed, right? But if there is not that string anywhere in the text that we get back, then we did it. We found the actual password. So we are going to just print password found, and we are going to print the actual password and username so that we know exactly what it is. And then, because we are in a for loop, we're just going to break out of there because we don't need to go any further. And before we actually run that, if you don't know how I got this, it's pretty simple, and I'll show you right now. So I'm gonna comment that out, and we are just going to be printing our text so that you can see, if you've never seen this before, so that you can see what it returns. And you should already know what it returns here, because this was back in like day 2, I think, of advent of cyber, that we learned what the request, whenever we requested something from the server, a web server, we would get a certain type of data, and that data is actually HTML, and you're going to see that right now. So let's navigate into okay. So to run this, we just need to do that. And we got some errors here. What do we got? We probably got some stuff that does not exist. Let's see, that exists, that exists. What was the error again? I'm trying to make this bigger, but I can't. Invalid URL. Oh, That's why. Because our IP is blank. So we gotta copy this right there, paste that, and it should be fine now. Oh, don't do that. Python. There we go. So as you can see, it says, the first thing that it says invalid user and password. And then we have the actual HTML code. And we have two forms. We have this form, and then we have this form right here, right? If you don't know how to read this, you might say that this is, you might want to look at this form and be like, okay, which it's technically the same thing. The values here are the same. But this is actually commented out. So this is not running at all. So we don't need to look at this. The one that's actually being ran is down here. And we have the name here, the username, and we've got the password. These are the fields that we need to look into, so that that pretty much represents the data that we have to pass, or some of the data, like this username and password. And this one, that part of the data is down here with the submit button. So we have submit, and then we have value of login. So if the server gets that in a post message, it's gonna run. We can't see it here because it's PHP, probably, and it's the back end, so we don't see that code at all here. But we do see the code that runs, that prompts that this website to request stuff. So we can use that information to see what would happen if we tried to brute force this, I guess. So now that you've seen that, let's change this. All right, so now we have that, and we're just gonna go through that loop, and we are gonna attempt to brute force the password, and boom, it found it. So the password is cookie, because Santa loves to eat his cookies. Now we can go back here and say that it is cookie, and we are correct. And let's see what the hint was. Look at the lengths of the returned results from the attack. Invalid passwords will have a certain length. Yes. And valid passwords will have another. Cool. So now we want to get the flag in here. So let's log in into, let's go to Firefox, and let's go here. Let's go to Santa and cookie, and now we are logged in, and we have retrieved his itinerary, and this is the flag that we need. to complete this task. So there you guys have it. I hope this was I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys learned a lot. I'm sorry I couldn't get burp running, but you can do the same thing multiple ways. I know that this, if you can go back and do it with burp so that you know how to use that software. And it's also valuable to know multiple ways of doing the same thing. So hopefully you revisit this video and learn how we did it through scripting, through programming, how we made our own program that brute forced the website. Okay. So if this video was helpful, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos. It really helps the channel. It really helps me rank, and yeah, we are over 650 subscribers now, so thank you to every single one of you that enjoys these videos and subscribes to my channel. Thank you for all of those of you who have stuck around. I know that I tend to go on and off from making videos, and I'm really trying to not do that as much. But it'll be easier whenever we get monetized, which is going to be soon. I believe within the next 3 to 6 months, we probably would be monetized, and depending on how many views we get, maybe I'll be able to do this full time. I don't know. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I don't know if they have released the next one. Probably not. It doesn't seem like they have. Oh, it is. So I'll probably be doing that one right after this one. So I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.